Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here with Yanzi, and today is the day we are here to let you know that the lid has blown off. Mark Waid says he wants to see the comic book industry burn down. Now, before we bring this to you, this has been done publicly at a really weird hour, and hopefully you're seeing this for the first time. I'm kind of disappointed in some of this. We're going to try to get you to the point where Mark Waid says he wants to see the industry burn down. The comic book industry, which is up in questions right now about business practices, whisper networks, and so on. Here we go.
So we kind of have to start this from 2 days ago, where Ryan Higgins highlights a number of Mark Millar posts. If you look at them, Mark Millar actually talks about a particular book that's coming out from a writer called Penny Parker, which you guys may or may not have heard about. She's basically going to do an expose on what is known as the comics book whisper network. So I want to point out one thing though. The book is titled Generation Simone. That's it. But for some reason, Mark Millar here does not make any reference to the book title, and doesn't make any reference to any of the people mentioned in the book. And somehow, Ryan Higgins frames it as going after Gil. So I'm starting to think, okay, just because the book is titled that doesn't mean that he's actually targeting Gail Simone, For some reason, there's Kelly Sue DeConnick on the cover. He's not saying going after Gail and Kelly. I mean, that would be my reaction too, right? That's the two women on the cover.
Right.
Let's see where all this has gone on today. Just several hours ago, Mark Waid made this post. See, 4 hours ago, I just took a screenshot. It says, another former comics superstar whose heat is fading chooses to cry for attention by blaming the industry, his peers, and the audience rather than taking stock of his own professional progress. All right, see, this is in reference to Mark Millar because we all know, when you go look at this thread, everybody talks about it as if it's Mark Millar, so we know it is. Here's the thing though, Mark Millar's star not fading yet. His Netflix deal still going on. He's going to get his book printed at Dark Horse. That's still going on. He has a lot of artists lined up for next year and the year beyond. He's even talking about his plans for 2026 already on his Twitter. So this is a guy that is planning to keep creating comics. And for some reason, you guys want to call him a has-been, just so what you can frame it as, yeah, he's just an old coot. Whatever he's saying doesn't really matter. It's not relevant to the industry anymore.
He just had a Kingsman movie come out like the last year. Netflix shows, some that we haven't even seen yet in development. Like, how is that not relevant? One of the most successful independent creators probably that we know of today.
Well, the problem probably is the fact that you just use the word independent. He's not beholden to the mainstream comic book industry. Now, this is the damn shame of what Mark Waid is saying over here, though. He says, I think a lot of us would just rather see the industry burn down than get together with alt-right. I know I would. Sorry. So, my question to you, Mark, is what is your definition of alt-right exactly? Is alt-right everyone who voted for Trump? Because that means that you're fighting against 80 million Americans here alone.
My issue with this comment actually is proof of pushing people out of the comic book industry, which again is going to come out maybe with this book, with the Whisper Network stuff. I mean, that's what it is. You don't want to share the comic book industry. You get to dictate who is alt-right versus your politics. What if you're alt-left?
This part is particularly troubling to me because they are finally admitting that there is a political bias in the comic book industry. Basically, if you're anything, right or left, you are alt-right. You realize this is basically what they are finally admitting to, right? They say Ethan was never pushed up because of his politics. Well, here you go. Mark just admitted that probably Ethan was pushed up because of his politics. Of course, there are people whose names we know, like Larry Hama here, saying, I don't know who this Miller Mook is, but he sounds like a proper schmuck. I'm sure you don't know who Mark Millar is, Larry. I don't know who Mark Millar is. Come on, he only created some of the most well-known independent comic book properties in the past 20 years. Okay, and then all the Snyder Bros, I'm sure they love him for his kick-ass stuff, right? Now, I got some more troubling stuff, though. For people who are afraid of being cancelled, like Bill Sienkiewicz, which is very strange because somehow he follows me on Twitter and I don't understand why he did. But anyway, he says, I don't know the context. He's talking to Gail because Gail made a post saying, oh, I'm being attacked and just not feeling great about it. He says, I love you and I am there for you. I also have a baseball bat if it comes to that. And of course, he reiterates, have bat and hugs will travel. So this is the thing that the left really loves to do. If they don't get their way, they threaten violence. We have seen this with Max Visaggio and her trans bat. Recently, she was gifted an actual bat painted in the colors of the trans flag. So I think this is actually a pretty credible threat. When people start saying, I've got a bat with your name on it, I think it's pretty credible when it comes from these people.
And to me, this is really tragic and sad that what we're seeing is basically a circle of comic pros threatening or insinuating violence for tiers, I guess, for maybe a book being published of things that people in this network would have said. That is what the book is based off of.
I think that really is the case, though. Suddenly, when they know that, oh, Mark is mentioning this book, oh my gosh, it is very important we protect Gil now. Like I said, Kelly Sue's on the cover too, but I don't see the same amount of protection for her. But hey, whatever. Finally, we of course have a comic book journalist, Rich Johnson, here saying, I've been divided about covering this, given it just draws attention to blatant lies being pushed. I could pointedly contradict the statements, but it would draw more attention to them. So this is very interesting coming from Rich, because I saw he had a Twitter interaction with a Comics Gator thing just yesterday, saying that he promises that he will always cover about attempts at canceling people. Now, for some reason, all these posts over here are all attempts at canceling Mark Millar, and he's somehow reluctant to cover it. I don't understand.
Now, before you guys say, well, how are you going to cancel Mark Millar? They're already doing it. They're framing him as a burnout, as a wash-up star, as a has-been. These people weren't saying that before. Now they say it. They have to say that first to make it excusable he doesn't get work anymore. But see, therein lies the problem and why all the outrage. How do you take work away from a guy who is self-sufficient and doesn't need Marvel or DC for work?
Maybe they could chase his artist off. They could say, oh, you're working with this alt-writer Mark Millar over here. We'll get rid of you guys, and then who will he work with? He will have to work with CGS. So here's the thing. They're spreading more and more rumors about it, saying sooner or later, Mark Millar is going to go to Indiegogo, like all these CGS and stuff. It's like, no, he doesn't need to. He has Dark Horse. Oh, wait. Maybe they're going after Dark Horse next.
Metaphorically, Yanzi's basically saying if they can make him radioactive, nobody will work with him. And Mark is known for admittingly bragging that he poaches the best talent from Marvel and DC. How does he do that? With opportunities for back-end money on movies, TV shows, better page rates. The guy can afford better page rates than Marvel and DC. So they have to make it toxic that's how they're going to try to hurt Mark, is make it where none of these artists want to work for him. What you're seeing majority here is writers. I mean, Bill Sienkiewicz is an artist, but he really doesn't draw too much. So most of this is writers patting each other on the back here. One of the things I've noticed, and we're not going to go through all of this, is there are actually some office people at Marvel and DC, that type, in this thread, giving pats, hope you're going to be all right. I feel for you, shit like that. The problem with this is whenever we talk about how corrupt the American comic book industry is, you have to understand how entrenched some of these people are. They're writers, canceling other writers. They're influencers. They can be staffers. They can be editorial. They can be high-ranking people in creative affairs. This is problematic. It's very problematic to any type of change in the American comic book industry. Now, at the same time, Mark having retailers on talking about things that basically could fix the American comic book industry.
Have to clarify, we're talking about Mark Millar in this case. Mark Millar wants to try to save the industry. Meanwhile, Mark Waid says, I'd rather it burn down than to work with these alt-writers.
Right. Maybe some people just want to see the Mark refers to his star burning out. Maybe he wants to see the industry stop when he burns out. I don't know. Maybe he's already burned out. I haven't read anything from him from years. If you guys will, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification, leave us a comment below. Please share this video out. This is very important to what this channel does, that this type of stuff gets more eyes on it. If you guys will, hang tight, and we'll catch you guys again with another video.